Hello everyone, my name is Aaron Woodman, and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. In this video, we will proceed into talking about the rules of productive disagreement to have better disagreement anywhere you are at, starting with establishing a connection in a conversation. This is important for a disagreement to be sincere. You and the other person need to establish a relationship of trust. It would be difficult to disagree with someone when you distrust each other. It begins by establishing a tone at the beginning of the conversation. We have all been in situations in which there is something difficult we want to say to someone, something we know they will not agree with, at least not at first. The prospect of saying it and the anger and the bitter language that might follow stops ourselves from saying something. Scholars from different fields have repeatedly found that subtle differences in how a conversation starts have a disproportionate impact on what follows. Researchers at the Intractable Conflicts Lab at Columbia University discovered that how the participants feel during the first 3 minutes of a conversation about moral conflict sets the tone for the rest of the discussions. Conversation analysts who study real-life conversations in minute detail have established that a pause of as little as 0.7 seconds before someone responds to the initial hello in a phone call is a good predictor that the subsequent conversation will not go well. John Gottman, a relationship scientist, found that the opening exchanges in a married couple's conversations determine how the rest of the encounter will unfold. The same couple can have a productive conversation about something one day and then find themselves stuck in an argument about it the next day. The only difference being how the conversation began. The reasons for this is that humans have a deep-rooted tendency to respond to each other in kind. Without even realizing it, we take our cues from the person or people we are talking with and what we say and how we behave. If someone indicates that they like us, we want to show we like them too. If someone discloses to us something they know or feel, we get the urge to do the same for them. And if someone is hostile to us, we have a powerful urge to be hostile to them. This mirroring of behavior and emotional tenure is not inevitable, but it happens more often than not. It is called the norm of reciprocity, where we treat others the way they treat us. Once a feedback loop of positivity or negativity has begun, it is hard to escape. A tense encounter can turn into a raging battle if the participants do not control themselves. In Gottman's lab, only 4% of couples who began an interaction negatively were able to turn it around into a positive direction. Entering a conversation with noble intentions, it counts for little. In most marital arguments, both participants want to be seen as playing fair, as trying to achieve their goals without offending the other person. But as the tensions grow, quote, people begin to behave more mindlessly and less strategically, unquote. They drop the niceties and make wounding personal comments. They drag in completely unrelated issues in order to get one over the other. Therefore, the conflict escalates. So you can see that beginnings matter. So how do you productively begin to establish a connection with someone? One, before leaping into the dispute itself, focus on creating the right context for it. Figure out what the other person cares about and acknowledge whatever that is in how you talk to them. Behave in the manner with which you would like them to respond. Be your ideal interlocutor. Since disagreements make us nervous, we often put a mask of invulnerability when we do it, but that is counterproductive. Open up a little to them and they are more likely to open up to you. Better relationships lead to better disagreements. The sequencing is important, so make sure you devote enough care and attention to molding the relationship before they get into the substance of the disagreement. Two, you also want to acknowledge people's emotions. When people speak, they are not just expressing their ideas, they are, even more, expressing their emotions. And it is the emotions that they really want to be heard. For example, you can tell someone, quote, you seem really angry and like you feel disrespected, unquote. Then the other person is likely to respond, quote, yes, I am angry and disrespected, unquote. The other person is likely to elaborate more on why they feel that way. 3, you want to build trust by showing empathy. Of course, creating the bond of trust that precedes a productive disagreement is easier said than done, especially when there is little to work with. You might find yourself plunged into a dispute with someone you don't know very well, with barely any time to work on the relationship, but that does not mean you should skip this part. It just means you need to work fast and efficiently. The beginning of a potentially fraught encounter is crucial. A connection has to be made before the conversation about what to do can begin, and you can't make that connection when you are lecturing the other person on how to feel. In fact, doing so invites the wrong kind of reciprocation, I should say. For example, if you tell someone to calm down, they are likely going to say, quote, "No, you calm down," unquote. At this point, you have opened the door for an argument or for a fight, I should say. The thing you should do instead is start where the other person is at. Starting where they are at means paying attention to where they are at. You need to let them express their thoughts to you instead of you telling them how to feel or expressing why they are wrong to feel the way they do. Remember, empathy is not about making a situation about yourself, but instead truly understand how someone is feeling. 4, use empathetic engagement to prevent small issues from persisting. This means if you notice that someone is being treated poorly or they are having a bad day, you should check in with them to see how they are feeling. Perhaps that person is used to having bad days, but when you reach out and they know you are there, if they ever need to talk, then that person will know there is someone like you who sees them. This allows the person to know they do not have to go through an issue alone. So what do we take away from all of this? Productive conflicts and disagreements do not start with facts, arguments, or clever comebacks, but rather start with connection. The way we begin a disagreement often determines how it ends. This means the tone you set in the first few moments can shape everything that follows. When conversations begin with tension, defensiveness, or dismissal, they almost always spiral. But when they begin with curiosity, respect, and emotional awareness, they create space for understanding. People need to feel seen, heard, and safe. That means slowing down long enough to acknowledge their emotions, showing empathy instead of judgment, and approaching the other person as a partner in conversation rather than someone to defeat in an argument. Trust does not magically appear in the middle of conflict, but instead is built in a way we enter it. It also means remembering that people mirror what they receive. If we bring calm, openness, and care into a conversation, we make it far more likely that those same qualities will come back to us. And even when we don't know someone well, small amounts of empathy, such as checking in, listening, and validating feelings, can prevent misunderstandings from growing into bigger problems. All in all, productive disagreement is not about winning, but also, it's about understanding each other better, solving problems more effectively, and strengthening relationships. When we lead with connection, even tough conversations can become opportunities for growth. In the next video, we will talk about letting go of controlling other people's thoughts and feelings. Until then, please like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and turn on the post notifications so you will be notified when I post my next video. I appreciate your support. Remember, you are powerful, you are capable, and you are the changemaker our society needs. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you soon.